Okay, Lesley Rusaw, Purchasing Manager at Creative Learning Systems. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Of course.
So, Lesley, if you wouldn't mind, speak a little bit to your journey. How did you end up in the purchasing industry, and how did you kind of end up here as the purchasing manager today over at Creative Learning Systems?
Yeah, I graduated college a semester early to go into auditing for manufacturing, ISO auditing, and in 2007, it wasn't a great time to enter the workforce. So I moved back home and kind of reevaluated my life, and I love shopping and getting great deals. So it just happened to fall into my lap. I worked for Emerson at the time, and it was a great starting point. Large company, and I was able to really understand a lot of procurement. I wound up at Creative Learning Systems, great company, definitely growing. And at the time, I had a 6-month-old little boy, and the job was closer to home. And it was nice to be close to home and affecting the education world and really how kids are growing up and what they're learning today. So it's cool to have an impact in what you do.
Totally, totally. And so over the course of your career working in the field, what ways have you found to optimize the procurement process as a whole? Going back to maybe say what you knew when you first started at Emerson, now you're purchasing manager at Creative Learning Systems now, what ways have you really found to optimize the process to help you be successful?
I really think it depends on the industry that you're in and the commodities that you're purchasing and what that environment looks like. And I would say Emerson and a couple other companies afterwards, reverse auctions were great tools to use at the time, vetting vendors and really getting competitive. But in the field that I'm in right now, it's really leveraging your partners and how do you create a deeper partnership with them to explore better deals and just the negotiation side of it.
Totally. And speaking of partners, vendors, distributors, and what have you, what key elements do you believe are crucial for effective relationships and prosperous relationships, maintaining those relationships, et cetera?
I think communication and transparency are key. And then having that documented. Here's your ground rules. Here's how you're going to move forward, whether that's in the form of a supply agreement, MOU, contract, whatever way you want to move forward. It's important that you're clearly communicating and that you're all on the same page and that's documented.
Definitely. And so at Creative Learning Systems, what kind of items are you actually procuring? Are you doing mainly technology? Is it everything that they may need across the board in terms of raw materials and supplies? What does that really look like for you?
It is everything. So it's classroom furniture, educational toys, direct from the manufacturers. It's consumables that you might use to help support the toys, the kits, everything like that. Computers, totally. Anything you would use in a classroom.
Yeah, and so with that, I would imagine come a lot of contracts, right? I mean, if you're procuring every single thing, I mean, you may have your technology, your furniture, like you kind of mentioned. I mean, how much of a heavy lift has it been for you to manage all those contracts, especially coming from an educational institute? You guys obviously get benefits being an educational institute, I would imagine. I mean, what does that kind of look like for you and your world and your team in terms of the heavy lifting and managing those?
I am a team of one, a team of myself. So it is an extremely heavy lift. Managing the contracts, not only the vendor communication, but just making sure the terms work for both sides and they're up to date and current. So it is quite a heavy lift.
Absolutely. And speaking of those heavy lifts, can you share a specific instance where you had to navigate a particularly difficult situation? And what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, I would say a difficult situation. An overseas vendor had a U.S. warehouse, and then they decided that they were closing down their warehouse, and it was reevaluating the contract and the agreement, what it looks like, and how to import goods from Cyprus, and working through all the logistical challenges of that.
Yeah, definitely. I used to work for a large PC OEM back in the day, and we had several thousand monitors on a ship coming over from China, and the ship sank in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And I had to explain to the customers why it was going to be, another 12-week, 16-week lead time. I was kind of obviously on the different side than you were, of course, but
Yeah.
I know you're the teams on your side have difficulties. The team on the sales side have difficulties. It's a tough pull, especially when you're dealing with raw materials, for sure.
Yeah. It can be a challenge, a fun challenge.
Absolutely. Yeah, a fun challenge for sure. And last question for you, Lesley, what key elements do you believe are crucial for effective procurement management? I know you touched on communication earlier. Can you touch a little bit further or go a little bit deeper on that communication side and what is crucial or required for that effective procurement management?
Yeah, I think an agenda for communication, transparency, asking the hard questions, making sure both companies are on the same page. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. No, no, absolutely. Communication is crucial for any industry and managing any kind of project or situation at hand. But couldn't agree with you more, Lesley. But really appreciate the quick chat. Thanks so much for being on, and good luck to you.
Of course. Thank you.